Hello and welcome to Quassi's Bell Tower with your host, Quassi. And today we're going to make cavern tiles. So what I did, I started off making a 12 by 12 grid on some insulation board that you can get at Lowe's. Now I already started doing a grid, and what I did is I drew out some cavern tiles. I'm going to make a bunch more, but this is what I got for right now. So let's see if we can get a good close-up of that. So I'm going to cut those out. And I'll show you how I did those on my hot wire cutter. So let's get to it. So here's my hot wire cutter. All I'm going to do is turn this bad boy on. I have it on like 3.5. If it's too hot, if I think it's melting faster than I can cut, I can turn it up or turn it down depending on what it is. So let's get started cutting this. Now I'm probably not going to be able to follow the lines exactly, but that's okay. And honestly, in a way, it doesn't matter if it's past or if I have some excess or not, because I'm also going to use one of my tools, my other hot wire tools, to give it some more detail. Oops. So like I said, right there, I kind of messed up, but no big deal. So I'm just going to give it, actually I'm just going to back off on it a bit, so I don't cut too much into the work I'm already doing. We'll just continue on, cut this out. I don't have to follow the lines because I'm going to use my other wire cutter to give it some definition, some texture, make it look more like a cavern tile. I'm definitely going to have some leftover scrap, but that's okay because you can always use it in another project. You might just need just a certain amount of foam and just use some of your scraps. I know I have like a couple totes of just scraps, but it'll be useful later on down the road. I'm sure I'll need it for some kind of project. Yes, it's these fumes from the foam can be quite dangerous to your health, and you should have good ventilation. I'm out in the garage, so I should be pretty good. And I drew the lines on there as light as I could, so it wouldn't make too much in grooves in the foam, so it won't show up when we paint. But there's always ways to hide that if it does show up. So now I got some of my dungeon tiles done. I'll make some more and then we'll get to the next part. Now this is my hot wire wand, and I'm going to use this to give this some more interesting designs, get it a little closer to my lines too. So you just kind of wiggle it back and forth, kind of get a little closer to the lines. Basically me shaking enough is gonna make enough kind of cool looking designs anyways. See? See if I can get it to focus. Focus. Now if you look, I don't know if the camera's going to pick up on it or not, but you can see a lot more detail using the hot wire wand. Not saying you have to, but if you want to pick up, you know, one of those, you can get them at Hobby Lobby. I got mine real cheap. I think I got one of those discounts Hobby Lobby has, so see right here, see this, it'll focus on it. Right now I'm having a hard time with it focusing. Maybe it's got to do with the lighting, but the next thing I'm going to do on these tiles is I'm going to give them some texture. Just going to take this tinfoil ball, texture, yeah, that's what I said, texture, and just run it across there. See, now that looks really nice. Now that looks real nice. Now I'll go back through and I'll make the lines deeper, and then I'll prime these, and then we'll get to the painting. Okay, before I start black bombing this and priming it all up, we're gonna add some texture to it, and we're gonna put some stones that I got out of the driveway. So here we go, we'll get some glue. Put it on there. Just put in some random spots. Now, I've gone out in the driveway, collected a whole bunch of rocks. I've picked through them and got all the big ones out and all the little ones. I kind of used a spaghetti strainer and basically just, you know, shifted through, or, you know, shuffled through the rocks, got all the small ones out, put them in one container, put the bigger ones in this one, so forth and so on. So I'm just going to take this brush over here and I'm just going to kind of brush some of this glue around, kind of spread it out. Okay, so now we're just going to take some of these stones that I collected, and we're just going to drop them on random places here where all the glue is. Yes, you will get a piece of grass or two in there. Just try to pick it out. No big deal. Yes, you're going to have a mess of stone everywhere. Just get a small broom, a little dustpan handle, a little pocket one, and use that to sweep this all up when you're done with this. Is all done drying. When this dries, you'll probably lose some stones off that didn't stick to the glue or whatever else. You just pick them up, put them back in the bucket, and save them for next time. So you just let this dry. It's going to take a few hours. And then after that, you can black bomb it with your black paint, spray. Well, don't use spray paint because you'll melt this unless you coat it in a bunch of glue or something. But we're just going to use regular acrylic paint and just do it that way. So that's it for now. When I come back, I'll have this all primed and ready to go. Okay? Okay, now that I have those all primed and ready to go, I'm going to paint them gray with a little bit of black, and then I'll be right back. I'm going to add two other colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a sponge or a piece of sponge. You just take a sponge, cut it up, cut it to little cubes or little squares or whatever, and then just take some of that paint, put it on the sponge, take off some of that paint so it doesn't go on there too thick, and you just kind of dab it around various areas wherever you want. Just kind of spread it around. Try not to do it all in the same spot. Gonna bounce it around. You think you got it enough spread out in some different places. Go ahead and switch to the other color. Kind of breaks up the gray, gives it some different color. Like I said, you just want to put it on kind of thin on the sponge, so when you're dabbing it on there, you're not getting a big blotchy thing of it. You're just getting a little bit. You know, you can put it on the stones, wherever you want, till you're satisfied with it. When you're happy with it, you'll move on to the next step, and we'll add a light gray. A granite gray is what we'll add, and we'll dry brush the stones and some of the edges and everything else. So I'll be back with that in just a minute. Now I have finished dry brushing them with the granite gray. Did some of the edges here. Did on the top, did around the stones, did all the edging. Try to make that pop, give it a lot more of a highlight to everything. So I'd say that looks pretty damn good. So what do you guys think? Okay, now I did the final step. I went and got them polyurethane, so they're nice and coated, nice and protected now. But look at that beautiful detailed work. Hopefully you guys can see all the indents and everything else from the tin foil in there. This looks beautiful. I love this. It looks so nice. There's a couple more pieces. And this is the last piece. So these all go to something else, but I just wanted to show you how to make these cavern tiles. These are actually going to go to another project that I'll discuss later. It's got to do with RPG crates anyways. So for now, subscribe, comment, and like always, ring that like button like a hunchback. Until next time.